Hello everyone, welcome to PS4 Trophies. My name is Brian and I'm going to do things a little different in this video. I am going to turn on the face cam. So hello, if you've never seen me before, you may have seen me if you follow me over at Twitch, catch any of those live streams. I do a lot of streaming over there, so follow me at twitch.tv/PS4 Trophies. I would appreciate it. And this is going to be kind of like a long video. It's going to be more kind of like podcast form. And what I'm going to do is go through all of my trophies that I've earned on the PlayStation 4. This is my account. I created a second account right around the launch of the PlayStation 4, and I did all my trophy hunting since the release of the system on this account. Now, the reason why I created a second account is so I can just kind of tie it and link it to my YouTube channel. So we're going to go through this. As you can see, I've got 100 platinum trophies. So I figured this is a good milestone, a good time to do this video. A lot of people have asked me to make this video as well. Now, I've created, again, this is the second channel. This is my trophy card from my original account, 143 platinums on that account. So yeah, I ditched all of that to create a new account. If you want to see a detailed list of all those trophies, I'm not going to cover them in this video. You can go over to PSN Profiles. I'll put a link in the description. So what we're going to do is go through all these games. I'm going to kind of talk about a lot of them, give you some kind of little tidbits, some inside baseball type stuff. And let's just go ahead and kick things off looking at my list. As you can see, my most recent trophies earned, I have Full Blast, Tetris Escape, and Jack and Jill DX to kick things off. I actually just earned these a little while ago. I realized I was in 97 platinum, so let's just get it all the way up to an even 100. And normally I don't buy or play these types of games unless I'm creating content for YouTube. These three games are the exception. Now we also have BB and Tina Adventures with Horses. Yes, I played this game, but I did it for content. Again, I'm not going to play these games unless I'm creating content. And in this case, I did a Twitch stream. I did a live stream, Platinum Hunt. It was about 2.5 hours. It took about 20 minutes to find one missing collectible. That kind of sucked. I also posted it on YouTube, that stream. So yeah, that's a real game. Not a very good game, but it wasn't terrible. But Just Cause 4, I did platinum, as you can see here. Normally, I don't platinum games unless I kind of have a certain enjoyment for it, unless it's obviously a quick and easy one like BB and Tina and the first 4 titles there. But I actually enjoyed Just Cause 4. I don't know why it didn't get the critical success. As far as, you know, on the YouTube channel, they're not the most viewed videos. I can usually tell the success of a game based on the stats on the YouTube channel. But I enjoyed this game enough to go ahead and platinum. And now a game I did not platinum was Red Dead Redemption 2. Now I loved Red Dead Redemption 2. I don't think it was the game of the year. I think you guys can pretty much figure out what my choice is, and we'll of course talk about it once we get there. But I saw the trophy list for Red Dead Redemption 2, and I saw that 100% trophy. I don't know where it is on here, but it's yeah, here it is. Attain 100% completion. I saw the requirements needed for that and said, nope. Honestly, guys, I don't have time. I can only usually play a game until the next game comes out. And in this case, there was like about a 2-week gap. And in that 2-week period, I actually went to Stockholm for the Battlefield 5 launch event. And then after that, you know, a lot of games came out. Battlefield 5, of course, the Spyro trilogy, Hitman. A lot of games came out, so I wasn't able to complete it. I've gone back and played a little bit of it. Usually I don't actually go back and play older titles just because on this account since PS4 launch I've played 215 games. So yeah, not a whole lot of time to go back, especially if you're making trophy guides. Next up we have Darksiders 3, another game that came out after Red Dead, and I did platinum this game. I did not think I was going to enjoy this game very much, and I really did. I can't believe how much I enjoyed it. Now, I had a rough start. There was a lot of glitches, a lot of bugs. I don't know how much of that has been ironed out, but I encountered some of them. But I really enjoyed the game. So I don't know if you guys did or didn't, or checked it out or not. All right, so next up we have Storm Boy. This is a 15-minute cheap platinum. It actually is just basically a narrative game. You just could play some mini puzzles. It's very quick, 15 minutes, and it actually has kind of a little sweet story, a little sweet ending to it, which I of course won't spoil. Next up, we have Battlefield 5, sitting at 40%. I am not going to platinum this game. Why? Well, because it has a lot of online trophies. As you can see, I barely touched online. I got one online trophy. That's it. Everything else is part of the single player, which I made a collectible guide on. There was no trophies tied to those collectibles, unfortunately. Overall, I'm not excited about Battlefield 5. I feel like it's kind of a step backwards. Of course, it launched without its Battle Royale mode, which will be coming down the road. Next up, we have Fallout 76, a game I actually don't like at all. I was never actually a big fan of the Fallout series. I know a lot of people have a lot of love for Fallout 3, or even maybe Fallout 4. Fallout 4, of course, I platinum, but not 76. Again, it's another online title. I don't typically play online. I like playing with, various members of the community, whether, Discord or wherever, but I don't like to just hop online very often. Next up, we have the 3 Spyro games sandwiched with Hitman 2. Now, the Spyro games, this is a trilogy package. You can get 3 platinums for the price of 1. I think it's only $40, so less than the price of 1. 3 platinums, and I enjoyed playing through all these. It was very nostalgic, and the quality of these remakes were very, very good. And it was nice to play these games. It's kind of an old school feel to it, and it just kind of nice to see those types of games. Single player games, of course. Now, you see Hitman 2 in here. I'm sitting at a whole whopping 8%. Now, the Spyro videos did really, really well on the channel, so thank you for the support of those. But Hitman 2, not so much. I only played like really 1 map. Now, I would have liked to have played more, made more videos even for Hitman 2, but the couple that I uploaded really didn't do that well. And there were so many other games, Spyro, and there was just no time for me to continue making guides. And it's not likely I'll go back and make any more guides. The game is okay. It's just not my style, a gameplay style that I enjoy. But I would like to make some more videos, but if no one's going to watch them, it's really tough to do it. Now, I do also want to just take a second and say that I'm very blessed for being in this industry, being a content creator and influencer, as the industry likes to call us. And I don't actually have to often buy games. I'm very, very well supported with the publishers and grateful that they provide me for codes for a lot of these games so I can make guides for you. I know a lot of people kind of take exception to me being able to the platinum games prior to them even coming out. I don't brag about getting world first on platinums just because it's not fair if I have it before everyone else. But I want to just shout out the industry, a lot of the publishers that I work with, and just treat me really well. And I thank all of them. And I thank you guys because you put me in that position to be able to do that. So speaking of, Marvel Spider-Man is another big game, Sony exclusive. Sony exclusives do really, really well on my channel. Not all that surprising because being a PlayStation exclusive channel, a lot of my audience, a lot of my fans are PlayStation exclusive fanboys, and they eat up the exclusives, and they're really, really good. Spider-Man could have been a game of the year. It was a contender, but it could have been game of the year in another year. There was just so many good games that came out this year, and Spider-Man was a real joy to play. I did some live streams of it. A lot of my videos, of course, being a first-party game, did exceptionally well on the channel. So I want to thank you guys for that. It was a lot of fun, and I really look forward to a sequel, probably when the PS5 comes out. Next up, we got Call of Duty Black Ops 4, 3%. That's all I can muster, guys. It was an online-only game. There was no single-player campaign, and I suck at the Battle Royale mode. I'm not terrible, but I just don't enjoy playing online too much, and it's a lot of zombies. And here's another thing about me. I don't like the zombie modes. I kind of leave those videos, I miss a lot on those, just kind of leaving them out of the off the channel. But I just don't enjoy the zombie modes. The first year, I forget which Call of Duty it was, I actually enjoyed the zombie mode then, but it just got too much for me, too complicated, all the Easter eggs. You have to get a good group of people together. But as you can see, well, actually 4% because of the DLC increased it. So yeah, not a whole lot there. Hopefully they return to the campaign next year. Next up, we got Odyssey. Odyssey is a game I did platinum, as you can see, and I loved it. 73%, so they must have come out with some DLC. I don't typically play DLC. I don't often go back to games that I've completed because I'm always doing the next guide. DLC, I would make more DLC guides, but far fewer people actually get into the DLC, so I'm making trophy guides for a smaller audience. And that wouldn't be a problem, but it's just me, and it's really tough to kind of keep up with the current and the newest releases. So I don't often go back to DLC, but I loved Odyssey. Ubisoft titles do really well on my channel, very, in fact, freakishly well. So big shout out to Ubisoft. They were one of the first AAA publishers that supported me, and I thank them for everything. And Odyssey was a great game. I loved it. I probably liked Origins maybe a little more, but that's yeah. Let me know what you guys think. Next up, Life is Strange 2. I played the first episode. I don't think the following episodes are out. Episodic games, by the way, I typically, if I play them, I'll play the first episode and then forget about it. The only time I'll usually finish an episodic title is if I start once all of the episodes are out and I can play them back to back to back. Shadow of the Tomb Raider is actually my first, I think my first Tomb Raider Platinum, maybe my second. Maybe I got one of the really early games, not part of this new series that they're doing. This, I believe, was the third one, if I'm not mistaken. But I did platinum it, and I don't platinum games often as much as I used to. On my original account, if you go through those trophies, and some of them are very embarrassing. I'm just gonna forewarn you if you're gonna dive into those. Very embarrassing. I would platinum as much as I could, everything. But I wasn't making YouTube videos at the time, so it was a little bit easier. Destiny 2's next up, sitting at 89% with platinum, so there's, again, DLC. Destiny 2 is a game I actually really enjoyed so much when it first launched, but it just got, after, a few weeks, it just got too repetitive. And I don't know if much has changed on it. I know they added some new expansions, the Forsaken. Looks like I got a trophy in there, a couple of them. Next up is Super Destronaut DX. If you're looking for a inexpensive and quick platinum, this is it. Again, I bought this game, actually bought it myself, and played this game to create content on YouTube. This is not something I just bought because, cheap platinum. I did it for content on YouTube. I like to showcase some of the easier games that are out there. I know a lot of people appreciate it. Some people wonder why I do that, but for content. So bought that. That is from Petite Games. There's actually 3 or 4 of their games on this list, and we'll see shortly. Next up is Fortnite. I actually got Fortnite right around the original launch, if not on launch date. And I played the Save the World a ton. I loved it. Even before Battle Royale was even announced, I played a lot of Fortnite. All the trophies are part of Save the World. They're not part of the Battle Royale. It's a very, very difficult platinum trophy. Very rare. Very few people will actually have it. I probably won't go back to the Save the World mode. Next up, Detroit Become Human. Again, another Sony exclusive. This game has yielded some very, very good results on some of my YouTube videos. A couple of them are over 1 million views. It's first party game, so again, not too surprisingly. Quantum Dream games do very well on my channel for some reason. Beyond Two Souls, I think, still has the most viewed video on my channel. So it was a great game. I don't know if it's underrated because a lot of people do talk about it, but I feel like it doesn't get enough respect for as good as it actually really was. My favorite Quantum Dream game, better than Heavy Rain in my opinion. Next up is Inksplosion. This is part of Petite Games, the Super Destronaut DX developer. This is another very short, very cheap platinum trophy, and it's very colorful. If you just kind of go into a random trophy here, and you can see the screenshot. Well, they're very bright. We need some sunglasses for that. But yeah, very, very, it's actually pretty fun, quick, easy platinum trophy if you're looking for one of those. And next up is God of War. God of War is so good. Of course, got the platinum trophy on April 19th, so it came out in the first half of the year. God, it's been that long already. God of War, not much I have to say about this, other than the videos did really well on my channel. I created a ton of guides. Creating guides for this was a little difficult. There was the one trophy guide that I made, collectibles for all those little birds. I don't know, the crows or ravens or whatever they were, those little kind of green transparent things. I spent maybe 25 hours just looking for those, and man, that sucked. Eventually found them. Let's put that guide out there so you guys can spend half an hour getting them, but it took me a real long time. I remember how painful that really was. Next up is Slide. I don't know if this is available in North America yet. I have actually multiple PSN accounts beyond the two that I showed you. I have one that I created based in the UK. So I purchased a UK PSN card so I can buy stuff from the European store that's not on the North American store. So if you're looking to do that, just put in a fake address in London or something like that. Find a UK PSN card. You can't use North American currency, credit cards, or PSN cards, so you'll need one of those. So it's very, very short. I don't remember how long it took me. A minute, 2 minutes maybe? I don't remember, but it was very quick. I don't know, again, if it's here yet. Far Cry 5 is next on the list. When did this come out? This came out, a lot of DLC. Lost on Mars. Oh, that sounds fun. Dead Living Zombies. Anyways, Far Cry came out about a month before it got awarded. I actually had a real good time in Far Cry 5. I went to a lot of preview events for Far Cry 5, and I actually didn't like it at all. It was very buggy. A lot of things would just kind of pop in. Enemies would just kind of disappear. And I was very, very concerned about this game. And then by the time it launched, maybe even just a month later, it was really good. I mean, they ironed out a lot of bugs, a lot of issues I thought was going to have going into this game. And it turned out it was one of my favorite games of the year. So many games this year. So I don't think it makes the top 5, but it was right up there, especially for the first half of the year. Next up, Midnight Deluxe, another Petite Games title. This is a very short, relatively short, maybe a little bit longer than 36 Fragments of Midnight. But Midnight Deluxe is kind of a sequel, different gameplay style, kind of like what is that, Angry Birds, I think it is, kind of feel to it. So if you're looking for another cheap platinum, again, I made this for content on the channel. Little Adventure on the Prairie, guys. It's a very cheap game, and it can be platinum in less than half an hour, but do not, I repeat, do not buy this. It's a terrible game, a little frustrating at certain parts. It's an ugly piece of crap is what it is. You can check the channel if you want to see a playthrough of it. All right, so the next up, I think the next two are going to be PSVR games. We got Moss and The Inpatient. The Inpatient was a horror title, and it was actually really good for the first half an hour. It scared the heck out of me a few times. I did that Inpatient as a live stream, and I know a lot of people had some fun laughing at how scared I got in a few parts, but the game really drops the second half of it. It's only about maybe 2 hours long, but it really just fails on all fronts for the second half of the game, and really kind of dragged it out and became actually kind of boring. Moss, though. Moss is a PSVR title. I made trophy a walkthrough of The Inpatient. I think it's still on the channel. But I also made trophy guides for Moss. And Moss it might be my favorite VR title. A lot of people will say, what is it, Tetris Effect or Beat Saber? I have not played those games. I'm not really playing VR titles too much anymore, but I loved Moss. And I made a trophy guide for collectibles on Moss. And the problem is they're very difficult guides to make, just because when you're in the VR headset, you got to, let me just put my controller down, you got to keep your head still. If you're moving around too much and the screen is just shaking all over the place, no one's going to want to watch that video. You'll get dizzy, you'll vomit or whatever. And because you're wearing the headset, I can't see, my monitors, and I got 3 monitors here and my recorder, and it's just, from a technical standpoint, it's very difficult to make VR videos. However, since no one really owns VR, not a whole lot of people watch those, so it's a little hard to kind of justify the effort required to make a VR video. So I don't know if I'm going to do much VR in the future moving forward. Shadow of the Colossus, guys, I love this game. I'm going to be honest with you, I hated The Last Guardian, hated it. But Shadow of the Colossus, I loved. I never played the original. And Shadow of the Colossus is actually one of the highlights of my YouTube career. I did a live stream, many live streams, hunting for these little coins. After I platinumed the trophy, platinumed the game rather, I went and searched out these little relics, these little coins, and I didn't really know that was ultimately going to lead to some big event, big thing. And I had live streams with thousands of people. Apparently, it was leading to a secret that the entire Shadow of the Colossus community has been searching for over a decade, and massive numbers on the live stream, to the point where people from Sony's PR were watching. Blue Point Games, the developers who remade Shadow of the Colossus, were watching. In fact, they were in the in my Discord server. If you want to go to, speaking of Discord, if you want to go to Discord, there's a link, and you want to join the chat, feel free. A good group of people over there. But the developers are in my Discord server, talking privately with me, and also discussing, answering questions in the chat. So it was actually a real fun experience. At the very end of it, Kotaku actually reached out, and I had to do an interview with them because they wanted to kind of know about the community aspects of finding this new secret after a decade. Anyways, moving on. Assassin's Creed Origins. I can't tell you guys how much this game meant to me, actually to the channel. There's YouTube has a lot of analytics, a lot of statistics that I can dive into, and underneath the video you'll see like a little red button that says subscribe. Well, it'll be gray if you've already subscribed to me. If you have, if you're watching this and that is, you see that little red subscribe button, make sure you click it. But if you look underneath there and click that, YouTube will actually track how many times people subscribe from each individual video on my channel, and I got a ton of videos. Assassin's Creed Origins has the 3 highest subscribed videos on my channel. Over 10,000 people subscribed from my Isu Armor video, which has got about 2.7 million views. It'll easily hit 3 million on this pace. So it's what the number of subscribers that came to my channel from this video, the number of views that this game provided me. I'm grateful. I was able to pay rent that month, that's for sure. And I love the game. Again, I think I liked it a little better than Odyssey. Odyssey I think might have been a better game. It's just Origins kind of just snuck up on me. I didn't expect it to be as great as it was. Odyssey, I just kind of, I knew what it was gonna be, but Origins, well done on that. Next up is Energy Evasion. This is another cheap game. I don't remember the cost. I even don't really remember how to play this. What was it? There's no screenshots here, unfortunately. Energy Invasion is part of the energy. There's the energy cycle. Energy Invasion is very easy. 36 fragments to midnight, 5 10-minute platinum. Very cheap, 99 cents maybe. Cross-buy with the Vita, also stacks with multiple regions. Then I did Life is Strange Before the Storm. I actually enjoyed that. I don't remember if it was episodic or not, but I did get all the trophies. It's basically just a collectible hunt. Next up, Battlefront 2. I liked Battlefront 2, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. I did. It has a lot of faults. The loot box thing was a terrible system. The upgrade system is absolutely terrible. If you throw out all of the stuff that people hate about it, it's actually at its core a great time, a great game. I did not platinum it because you need to reach rank 50, and rank 50 is such a massive grind. Just the experience you get and the number of hours it takes just to go up one level is just absurd. And I can't stick with a game very long. Again, I can only play a game until the next game comes out. And I don't remember what the next one was, but eventually another game came out and I said, well, I got to move on, make trophy guides for that. So I never went back, and I probably won't. Next up is Air. Air was another inexpensive game. Easy platinum, maybe an hour or two. It's a little longer. I did this as a live stream. I did a full walkthrough, platinum walkthrough live, which it's a very scary thing to do, an entire platinum walkthrough live, because so many things can go wrong. Next up, Horizon Zero Dawn, my 2017 game of the year. I loved everything about this game. It's another first party game, so the videos for this did real well. So thank you. I'm sure a lot of you guys may have seen that. Horizon Zero Dawn is a game I'm hoping that we get a sequel to. I'm pretty sure we will. It's Guerrilla, and I feel like Guerrilla is, I think they have 2 teams, so I'm pretty sure they're working on another Killzone game, and of course a sequel to Horizon. And we have 2 cheap games here, Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. This is actually sold as a pack. Got a code from Ubisoft because they support me really well and take care of me. I did not actually buy this for any guides. I bought this to play with a friend. Next up, World War II, Call of Duty. 27%. I don't know what the real percentage is without DLC. 48. As I mentioned, I don't like to do a lot of online stuff. So when I got this game, and I do this with every game, is I look at the trophy list and I kind of check mark various trophies that I feel are going to need a trophy guide. And not really much I did past that. So I played through the campaign. I did all the collectibles. And then, of course, I didn't touch the zombies. Again, probably do a little better as a YouTuber if I did something. And by the way, I'm a very terrible YouTuber. If you look at a lot of YouTube channels, well, I'm sure a lot of that you guys might subscribe to, they oftentimes have 10-minute videos, 10 minute and 1 second, 10 minute, 2 seconds, or right around 10 minutes. Once you reach that 10-minute mark, you get the ability to have ads at the end of the video, as well as getting an ad in the middle, mid-roll ads. And a lot of my guides, a lot of my videos are 2-3 minutes long. Occasionally I'll get some that are over 10. So I don't do a lot of long form content, which is a very bad thing for if you want to be successful on YouTube. As well as I don't do sponsorships. You look at a lot of channels like my friends over at Kind of Funny, they do a couple sponsorship deals on their daily games thing. Boogie2988, another favorite of mine, he does sponsorships. Philip DeFranco, Mr. Beast. You look at, as you go up the chain, they all do sponsorships. I don't make long videos. Thinking about changing that up a little bit in 2019, maybe make some longer form Let's Play stuff, maybe some walkthroughs, not as a replacement to Trophy Guide. Don't get me wrong, I will never do that. And possibly a sponsorship with a company. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you would be totally disgusted by that. I'm a little disgusted by it, but I do need to make a living. Next up, Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus. Wolfenstein is another game that I immediately identified as a game I wasn't going to platinum. There's a trophy called Mein Leben, and you guys know what it is, I'm sure. I don't know if I can find it. There it is. Mein Leben requires you to beat the game on the Mein Leben difficulty. I played the game on easy. When I play games, when I put it in for the first time and I'm hunting collectibles, a lot of times I'm hunting collectibles in a game, I'll put the game on easy difficulty to help speed up my process of trying to find collectibles. You guys could just pull up a video and see where all the collectibles are. I have to find them always, almost always, not always, but usually have to find them all myself, which is a very, very difficult task. I've done it hundreds of times. It's a pain in the butt. It really is. And I put it on easy difficulty, and I realized even on easy difficulty, the game was hard. And I'm like, I'm dying in places I shouldn't be dying. There's no way I'm going to get the Mein Leben trophy. So I didn't. But if you notice, there's a Mein Leben trophy guide on my channel. One of our Discord friends, Recluse, he actually completed it several times. He actually did several runs. He did some runs for other people. And he actually captured a run for me to put on the channel. So big shout out to him for that. But I have the trophy guide on my channel, but I don't actually have the trophy. So next up, South Park, The Fractured Butthole. Again, another Ubisoft title. South Park has always done real well for me. We'll talk about it more as we get to the down this list here. But South Park was always my only, I don't want to call it an RPG, but it really is. It just has simplified mechanics. But I really enjoy it. I don't enjoy RPG games, but I enjoyed South Park, Fractured Butthole, and those videos did amazing. So thank you guys for that. Evil Within 2, 65%, no DLC on that. Very hard trophy. You saw it was like 1.1% people got it. I didn't actually enjoy the Evil Within 2. I don't know. It just didn't click with me. If it did, maybe I would have gone back and try to platinum it. But I made the videos I can make and pretty much moved on to the next game. Then we got the Lego Ninjago movie video game sitting at 0%. Probably delete that. Fortnite. Didn't we do Fortnite already? We got a second Fortnite. This is actually a higher percentage. So I'm very confused by that. Anyways, Uncharted The Lost Legacy. Of course, platinum that. Uncharted The Lost Legacy, I don't feel like did quite as well as it should have. I can usually tell, again, looking at my analytics on my YouTube page, see the number of views certain games have, videos have, and I realized it was much lower than what an Uncharted game would typically have. Now, of course, this is kind of like a standalone DLC type thing. I don't want to call it DLC. That's really kind of the wrong word for it. But it was a standalone expansion, I guess, to Uncharted 4. And it was definitely a huge, massive drop in views from Uncharted 4 to The Lost Legacy. But I really enjoyed The Lost Legacy. I did not enjoy finding collectibles though. Next up, Tales from the Borderlands, the last and final Telltale game I played, will ever play probably. I actually started hating Telltale games. I didn't like the episodic format, waiting months between releases. I hated the engine. The games are always just kind of buggy, choppy, a lot of just from a technical standpoint, but they oftentimes bored me. Tales from the Borderlands, however, did not bore me. I actually thought it was quite enjoyable, and I platinumed it. And believe that's only because it was free on PlayStation Plus. So I didn't actually make any videos for Tales. Crash Bandicoot, Crash Bandicoot Warped, and Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back. I love these games. You can see platinum all 3 of them. Crash Bandicoot was a awesome remake of the original Crash Bandicoot, and they did so well as far as the numbers go on my video, on my channel, which indicates so many other people loved it too, played it. I know a lot of people that were concerned about it, and they weren't going to platinum it, and like, it's too hard, and they were hard. The first one especially, I don't remember the trophies necessarily, but you had to go and I don't know where it is. The relics, there it is. So earning the gold relics, that was quite very, very, very difficult. But I know a lot of people that just love the game so much that they just kept pushing themselves and ultimately earned the platinum because the game was just that good. Next Machina, I don't even remember playing. We're gonna actually have a lot of games like that where I don't remember. I don't even remember playing Rime, and I have the platinum trophy. Let me just go. I'm on YouTube here. Let me just do a quick search here. Rime PS4. Okay, I did make. Oh wow, I did an entire 100% walkthrough on that. One of the videos has over 100,000 views, and I don't even remember playing the game. A lot of times people will send me tweets asking me about like an old game. They're having a difficulty with this trophy or that trophy, and they just kind of want some more help. And to be honest with you, I don't even remember playing the games half the time. So I apologize if I can't help you. Life is Strange, 100% of that. Outlast 2. Outlast 2 had a platinum trophy. There were a lot of questions about whether or not Outlast 2 would have a platinum trophy because the first Outlast did not have a platinum trophy. Outlast 2 was a very fun game. I liked a good horror genre game. There were a lot of bad ones, but I love a good horror game, and this definitely kind of fit the bill. It wasn't as good, in my opinion, as the first one, and the insane difficulty trophy on this is just insane. It's combination hard and frustrating. You need I'm not saying you need luck. It's just you need some things to not go wrong, to put it. I mean, no other way to put it. All right, so next up is another Telltale game, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. I loved Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm like, oh, a Telltale game? Maybe I'll give it a shot. Even though I kind of written Telltale off by this point. Played the first episode, hated it. Never went back. Sniper Ghost Warrior 3. I don't even remember playing that at all either. MLB The Show. MLB, there's 2 games that I play for my own personal enjoyment that I don't do anything with. I don't stream. I don't create content for YouTube. Rocksmith is one, and MLB The Show is the other. I didn't purchase 18, but I purchased 17 through 2010. And I've usually tried to platinum. Some of them were too difficult. Bulletstorm Full Clip Edition. I don't remember it at all. Must not have been very memorable. Snake Pass. Snake Pass is one of those games I remember seeing previews, trailers. I saw like an early walkthrough. I'm like, oh, this game looks fun. And it was, but it was a little frustrating. I'm just not good. Definitely not good. Mr. Masaji is a cheap game. It's almost embarrassing that I have this platinum, but again, I made, content for YouTube is what it is. I mean, you just can tell by the screenshot, you can tell it's one of those types of games that you're not going to be proud of to have on your trophy list, but nonetheless, there it is. Mass Effect Andromeda, I got 71%, not quite the platinum. I enjoyed Mass Effect Andromeda far more than the average person did. I don't remember why I didn't platinum it. Probably because another game came out. But I know my videos didn't really do that well. They didn't light up the world, and neither did the sales of that game. So that kind of, again, they go hand in hand. Disc Jam, 100%. It's one of the few games on this list, and we'll see a few more, several more actually, as we get to the bottom. But that I actually got. This was a plus game. This is actually one of the few games that doesn't include a platinum trophy. And if a game doesn't have a platinum trophy, I'm typically not going to be interested in it at all, especially now. My early YouTube days, I would just download every game I could. Didn't matter if I had a platinum or not, I was going to make a trophy guide for it. Tip for you, if you're a new content creator or younger or smaller, whatever, don't necessarily make videos on the biggest titles in the world, you know, Call of Duty or Fortnite or whatever. It's because the marketplace is so saturated with other gamers, larger channels that are just gonna make your videos not even appear in the search results for like 6-7 pages. So what I did is made a lot of games, videos, gameplay videos or trophy guides, whatever, of games no one else was doing. And we'll see that as we get to the bottom of this list. Next up, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands. I liked Ghost Recon Wildlands. Wildlands actually was a very big success for Ubisoft, and I was a little surprised. And this is another game. Far Cry 5 gave me some concern, but Wildlands I was even more concerned. I was almost certain this game was going to just fail, and they somehow pulled it out at the very end. So good on Ubisoft. It was a fun game, and it's a Ubisoft game. And really nothing more I have to tell you. They all play kind of the similar. Speaking of Ubisoft games, For Honor, the one game that actually doesn't play like anything else. I'm not very good at For Honor. I am terrible at For Honor. I did the campaign. I enjoyed the campaign. I was not very good at it, but I managed to beat it, complete it. And then I went online. And as you guys know, I'm not a big fan of online games. And I did terrible. But I didn't do terrible in Resident Evil 7. In fact, the videos for Resident Evil 7 just skyrocket off the charts. So thank you guys for that. Resident Evil 7 was a huge hit for my channel. Just a lot of successful live streams on it. And I really, really love this game. I have so much love. I don't have love for Resident Evil, the series, at all. The movies, the games. I never had a big passion for that name, for that franchise. But Resident Evil 7 just grabbed me in such a way. It was so good. Just the house and it just wasn't crazy. It was grounded, if that's possible to say about a Resident Evil game. So Resident Evil 7 was great. Orc Slayer is bad. This might be the worst game on my list here. It's an easy platinum, but it's a little buggy. It's 100%. Of course got the platinum. I did this as a live stream, and I encountered some of the bugs. There was a bug at the end boss that just you shoot a million times and it just doesn't die. Yeah, the only way I was able to platinum this game was by doing a live stream. Sorry if you don't have anyone you can live stream to, but I needed the chat to keep me awake because it was that boring. Her Majesty's Spiffing, by the way, if you're looking for a good relatively short platinum trophy, Her Majesty's Spiffing might be right up your alley. It's actually kind of funny, some clever writing to it. The only downside to this game was how short it was. I don't know if they just didn't have enough money to make a bigger game. There was something about at the very end, and I don't know why my nose is itching. Let me drink some coffee here. But I know they want to continue making this game, make it bigger, like sequel or whatever. And I hope they do. I really do. It was a very pleasant surprise. For an easy platinum, it's actually pretty good. The Last Guardian, I mentioned this earlier, I hated it. In fact, if you look at my trophies here, I didn't even get the trophy for playing all the way to the end. There were certain segments that, like, I knew what I had to do. I knew how to get or where to go. I just couldn't navigate the big rat thing, whatever it's called. I apologize. I'm kind of crapping on this game. If you love this game, I get it. I understand it. Just wasn't for me. Nubla, very cheap, very easy. Go get it. Really, it's if you're looking for a cheap platinum. Final Fantasy 15. I mentioned I wasn't a JRPG fan or RPG fan, especially JRPGs. Final Fantasy, I actually did play 57% of the trophies. Surprisingly, I shocked myself that I actually played it to the end. So I enjoyed it. I did not enjoy anything that had to do with fishing or getting animals or food or anything like that. But I actually enjoyed the game. Wouldn't be in my top of the year list, but it was okay. Darksiders, I didn't even play it. Inner Kung Fu game is I made a video. I think I might have said worst PSN game. So maybe this is the worst. I got a lot of bad PSN games. Again, I actually bought this game knowing it was going to be terrible. That was the only reason I bought this. And I made a video specifically just to say, hey, look at this terrible game. Amnesia got 1 trophy. I played it for like 20 minutes or something like that. It just didn't grab me. And because I play so many games, it's very, and I wasn't really making guides for, I think I did a live stream. I play so many games and I make so many trophy guides that sometimes when there's no games out, I just need a break. And I decided to try Amnesia during one of those breaks and said, nope, I'm turning off the PlayStation and watching some Netflix or something, which I don't get enough time to do. Watchdogs 2 is a game I really enjoyed. I actually like the first Watchdogs a lot, but Watchdogs 2, it's clearly a better title. And of course I platinumed it. It was one of those games where I didn't really have any more trophy guides I was going to make, but I enjoyed the game so much that I just kept playing until I got the platinum. And I did get the platinum in Robinson the Journey, and I actually did a full walkthrough of this. I think a 6-part walkthrough on the channel. This is a PSVR title. There's some dinosaurs. It wasn't bad. It wasn't that bad, but it wasn't the best VR title. Killing Floor 2 was a Plus game. I don't remember much more about that. I think I made one video for some collectibles. Eagle Flight's another PSVR title. This is actually an Ubisoft game. This game, by the way, is terrible for trophy hunters. It's hard. There are a lot of collectibles. I wasn't going to make a collectible guide for you because no one was going to watch it. There are a lot of collectibles. But the worst part, let me just see if I can find that trophy. You gather every collectible. No, thank you. Here it is. Eliminate 1,000 enemies in multiplayer and win 200 games in multiplayer. Here's the problem. It's a VR title. Not enough people bought it. Not enough people bought it to form a lobby to even start a multiplayer match. So I'm very disappointed that this trophy was in the game. It can have multiplayer, but you don't need to make a crazy, ridiculous requirement. Win 200 games. You're never even going to get into 200 games, let alone win them. My name is Mayo. Show of hands here. Who's got that? Very well-known, easy cash grab. This is kind of like the grandfather of the, or the godfather of the easy platinum games. A lot of people will always refer to this when they talk about that genre of games of cash grabs. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, same thing with the other Call of Duties. I did the single player stuff, made trophy guides for the collectibles and whatnot, and never played the zombies or anything. Titanfall 2. Here's an interesting one, by the way. 57%. Now, the hardest trophy in Titanfall 2 by far is the trophy called Becomes the Master. And that's where you got to place in the top 3 for the gauntlet. In a video, I made a video, almost 250,000 views, I think, on that thing. So many people just have reached out to me and thanked me for how helpful that was for them. And of course, I have that trophy, but I don't have the platinum. This is another one of those, like, I could easily go back and get the platinum because I have obviously the hardest trophy in the game by far. Yeah, maybe one day I will. Until Dawn, Rush of Blood was an on-rails shooter based in the Until Dawn universe. It was a pretty fun, it's like a roller coaster basically you're on and you're shooting targets. It was hard finding the collectibles in this. I made a full collectible guide for it. Those guides actually didn't do too bad. But yeah, it was a fun game. I don't know why it was Until Dawn related. You could have just removed Until Dawn from it. And yeah, it takes place in the universe, and there's some things that they're shared between the two universes. But anyways, moving on. Battlefield 1, I got the platinum on it. I liked Battlefield 1 a lot. I didn't, like I mentioned earlier, I didn't really care. I don't care much for Battlefield 5. But I really did enjoy Battlefield 1. Spent a lot of time in that. 64%. They must have got a lot of DLC. Rise of the Tomb Raider. 19%. Not a big Tomb Raider fan, by the way. Playroom VR. Mafia 3. Here, 15% is probably... Yeah, 23%. Here's a perfect example of how I kind of approach a lot of games. I saw Mafia 3, I played it a little bit, and I didn't really get into it. I wasn't enjoying it. I don't remember specifically the details on why I didn't enjoy it. Maybe just kind of how empty the world felt, or I'm not entirely sure why I didn't enjoy it. So what happens in those cases is I'll look at the trophy list and I'll mark off 4 or 5 or whatever it is trophies that I feel require a guide. So that's basically what I did. And I went through and just chose various trophies through this list and said, all right, so like this one, drove at 120 miles per hour or faster for 20 seconds. That video actually did really well. And I made a few other trophy guides like that. I think I made 5 videos for it, but you would never know that. I just basically cherry picked a few trophies and moved on. I just didn't enjoy Mafia 3. Next up, this is going to be a fun one. Story time. Modern Warfare Remastered. This is a game that came out 9-10 years after the original release. Originally released on PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 3 before the trophy patch went live. Trophies didn't exist on PlayStation 3 until 2008. Yeah, somewhere in the middle of the year. And this looks like it came out October 2016. So almost 10 years later, this game came out. I made a lot of trophy guides for this because this is the first time, while it existed on a PS3, there was no trophies. So this is the first time PlayStation owners can get trophies in this game. And I made a ton of videos and they did really well. And there's one video that I didn't learn a technique. And let me see if I can find it here. I didn't learn the technique from this video, but I applied it here in it. Let me find it here. Well, the Mile High Club, that video did real well, as well as my collectible guide. It's got over 1 million views on that, which for a game that was 9 years old at the time. Let's see here. It is called Time Paradox. Here it is. Kill Makarov and complete your mission. Now, there are other achievement channels and trophy channels that made videos for this trophy. And those videos that they created, yeah, they did okay. They got an acceptable number of views. This trophy is technically an Easter egg. So I approached it as not a trophy guide, but I made it as a Easter egg. So I marketed it. The word trophy doesn't even exist in the title. In the actual video itself is basically talking about how it was an Easter egg. Oh, by the way, you'll earn this trophy as well, is basically how I approached it. And this video is going to reach over 3 million views. So if I can not just appeal to trophy hunters, but if I can somehow appeal to the larger mass crowd of all PlayStation or Xbox and more importantly PC gamers, if I can make a video that I can appeal to PC players, and they don't care about trophies or achievements, that is going to increase my chances of success. So that's something I try to do. I'm trying to consciously go, how can I promote this or market it as not just a trophy guide, but it's just an interesting concept. Next up, Destiny. The first Destiny, I didn't get the platinum. I played a lot of this. I enjoyed it. I probably played more of this than the Destiny 2. I didn't get the platinum because there was a trophy called Flawless Raider. At the time, it was very difficult. You and your entire fire team had to complete the raid with nobody dying. I was a warlock and I fell a lot. My jumping ability in that game was terrible. So I wasn't going to earn the trophy, and I certainly didn't want to ruin anyone else's chance of getting that trophy. But they made it easier post-launch with the additional light levels. And so once you've got to a certain light level, my eye, something in it, my eyeball, of course. But once you got high, you exceeded the light level for the easier raid, it became much easier. Bioshock was a collection I played. I didn't go for platinum because I just had to go through bam, bam, bam through the game real quick in order to make collectible guides. I don't know if I made any other guides, but basically, since these were just remastered guides, already existed for the original titles, but I wanted to play through them. I never played through the Bioshock games before this, and I actually did enjoy them. Fallout 4, I mentioned this earlier. I have love and I hate Fallout 4. It's meant a lot to this channel. I got a few videos, well over 1 million views on this. My bobbleheads video did real well. I have a lot of videos. If you look at number of videos I made for any one game, I think Fallout 4 might be #1. And part of that is because there were a lot of different collectibles. In addition to the bobbleheads, there was magazines. There was different series of magazines, different publications. I mean, it's just crazy number of collectibles in that game. And I actually happen to have a strategy guide. When I got the review copy of Fallout 4, Bethesda also sent me a PDF of the strategy guide. I was blown away. I'm like, wow. And I was the only one that got it. So apparently, and I was able to make a lot of content because of that. That's how I found all the bobbleheads before anyone else. That's how, and part of the success of YouTube is not just, you know, making a good video, but making a great video before anybody else. So if 8 other people made a bobblehead video and then I made mine, it wouldn't do as well. Because, let me just see what it is here, where it's sitting at. Because I was the first one to upload a guy that's got over 2 million views on this thing. Of course, the happiness, the settlement trophy, as I almost got 1.5 million. That was a terrible trophy. I don't know how many of y'all had issues with. Oh, we went too far there. Let me just scroll back down. But the settlement trophy was just an absolutely terrible system. The trophy wasn't too bad. It's just the actual system itself. Bethesda title, though, we shouldn't be surprised. It was a little buggy. All right, Deus Ex Mankind Divided. It's another one of those games where I'm like, I don't like this game. I'm not enjoying it at all. I pick and chose a few select trophies, made guides for that, and I moved on. No Man's Sky, I platinum that. Now you're going to ask me, Brian, how did you not enjoy Deus Ex Mankind Divided, but you enjoyed No Man's Sky enough to platinum it? And I can't answer that. I really can't. I platinumed it well before they updated and made the game good. This is like, I don't know, right around launch. I mean, August of 2016. I think it came out that month. So yeah, I enjoyed it. You know, hate me if you want, but I thought it was actually a good game then. I have not played it since. I hear it's really good now. Batman, this is a Telltale version of it. 1 chapter, and again, 1 episode, and then I'll forget about it. I don't remember playing Ghostbusters. This is a real game? Let me see if there's a screenshot. Oh, this is a 4-player thing. I remember it. It's not a very good game, guys. Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens was probably the last, it is the last Lego game I platinum. If you look at my other PSN account, I have a lot of Lego titles on there. I was addicted to the Lego games. I had Lego Harry Potter, Lego Indiana Jones, multiple Lego Star Wars titles. I'm pretty sure at one point I had every Lego Platinum that existed. Obviously, they've released so many since then, but I was addicted to them, and Star Wars The Force Awakens was the last one. I made some videos for it. Mirror's Edge Catalyst. I hated this game too. And judging by the lack of views on any of my Mirror's Edge content, most of you hated it as well or never bought it. I don't blame you. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants in Manhattan. Another game I don't remember. Is there a screenshot? Looks like a terrible screenshot. Let's take a look at it here, shall we? Huh. This is back when trophies used to be black. I mean, they changed the background of the trophy pops from black to white. I believe you can, of course, go back and change it if you want. I leave mine white. What color is yours? I'm curious. Next up is Doom. I did platinum this game, but I got a confession. I don't think I enjoyed this game as much as I thought I would, as much as anyone else did. I don't know why. It's just my memory of it. Uncharted 4, Thieves' End. All right, so if you want to be a leading trophy guide author, let me just kind of break this down for you, how this works. One, you need a game early, okay? And thankfully, I'm blessed. I get my games early. It didn't always happen that way. Here's a little information you probably didn't know, but back in my early days, with The Last of Us, I think when The Last of Us came out, there was maybe the first 2 Call of Duties that I covered. I actually bought the games from eBay. A lot of smaller retails or somehow people would get copies of the game, sell it on eBay. I would try to find someone that was breaking street date. I would offer them a lot of money to ship it next day shipping, just so I can get the game, 2-3 days ahead of time, and then bust out a bunch of trophy guides. Well, Uncharted 4, thankfully, of course, I have a relationship with Sony at this point. They got me, maybe 8-9 days ahead of time. And I can tell you, the 7 days leading up to launch, I worked 127 hours. This is the success of this, of these videos on my channel it's only because I had the game as early as I did, and I spent 126 hours within a 7-day period leading to launch, working on finding all the collectibles. It was a pain, especially that level, that big open world. I forget where, Madagascar, or I don't even know where it was. That big open world, it was a terrible collectible find. Spent a long time working on every single aspect, all the trophy guides. So by the time that launch date hit, by the time that embargo ended, I had all the videos sitting there, prepared, ready for you guys at launch. And I know millions of you guys thank me for that. The collectible guide alone has got over 1 million views. I put a lot of work into it, but I enjoyed that. I enjoy that part of it, actually. The editing is very difficult when you have hundreds of clips you're trying to put together. That's actually my favorite part of this whole thing. I don't know why. All right, so we got the arcade game series up next. And this is a series of games. They sell them individually, but you can buy them as a bundle. They're relatively short platinums, but I'm old. I'm 42 years old, so I love these games. This kind of goes back to my childhood here. Miss Pac-Man and Pac-Man were relatively easy. Dig Dug was a little harder. Galaga, I think, took me about 8 hours to platinum. It's actually quite difficult. I'm assuming no one's played those, though. Dark Souls 3, barely touched it. I'm not a Dark Souls or the Souls fan, although I did really enjoy Bloodborne. Ratchet & Clank, one of my favorite remasters ever. It really is. It was so fun. It was actually, I think, a remake. I've got to use the correct terminology these days. But it was really, really fun. Ratchet & Clank might be one of the most fun games ever. It really is. If you haven't played it, I highly recommend it. It shouldn't be that expensive. Of course, a Sony exclusive, you know it did really well on the channel. MLB, again, for me. Original Hitman, same thing. I think I made videos of them. They just really weren't hitting. Tom Clancy's The Division, platinum that. I love this game. I'm really looking forward to number 2. I know I didn't play The Division after they made it even better. They improved it dramatically. The Division 2, depending on when you're watching this video, isn't out yet, but I did go to a preview event, played about 4 hours of it in the dark zone and did some PvP stuff. And they really are designing this game with the end game in mind. So they're starting off with the end game and kind of working backwards from there. And I'm really excited to see more of what comes out of that. Garden Warfare 2. Garden Warfare is a series that I actually really love. I don't know why. I don't like multiplayer games. You know that. But for some reason, Garden Warfare, I was okay with. Silly kind of kids type theme. But it was a lot of fun. And I would play another Garden Warfare game if they came out with one. Far Cry Primal. Far Cry Primal is basically a reskinned Far Cry 4. Basically what the upcoming Far Cry New Dawn is to Far Cry 5. So hopefully New Dawn is just as good in its delivery as Primal was. And I loved Primal. I really, really did. It wasn't too big of a game. It was like the right size. I'd like to see almost just all Far Cry games just kind of be that size. Sometimes I feel like the games are getting too big for their own good, and the maps are too big, too cluttered, too many activities, especially in this day and age where everything is a big open world game. I liked the more compact size that Primal delivered. Street Fighter V, I got 17%. Yeah, no DLC. I'm terrible at fighting games. You're not going to see a whole lot of fighting game content on my channel. I'm really, really bad at it. You know, let me tell you this little story about Street Fighter V. There's I don't know if I'll find it. There's a trophy. It's probably at the end. I'm not going to find it. There's a trophy where you had to like get a certain number of wins online. And I started the game. Now, obviously not very good. I did some of the single player stuff. And then I went to go get these online wins. I played 20 matches online. 1-0. I am that bad at fighting games. 20 different people kicked my ass. Layers of Fear is a small indie horror game I really, really enjoyed. Made some guides for it. Not a whole lot of views, but I'll make guides for games that I like. It doesn't matter if no one watches them. Dying Light. Dying Light is there's a sequel coming out. I'm pretty sure about that. So many games coming. Dying Light is as far as my channel goes, the videos that did the best are the Easter egg videos. Easter egg videos, kind of like what we talked about with the Modern Warfare Remastered, allowed me to make content that not only just was kind of directed at trophy hunters. In fact, it really even wasn't directed at trophy hunters at all, but it was something that appeals to everyone, to all PlayStation, Xbox, and PC players. So I had some really, really good success with that, because they weren't just trophy guides, and I really probably should do more of those. Gravity Rush Remastered, barely touched. I don't even remember it. The Witness, this was a fun puzzle game, very difficult. In fact, about a year after it came out 2 years ago. So about a year ago, Kotaku did a top 10 list of the top hardest puzzle games. Maybe it was 10 or 20, I don't remember. They actually reached out to me and asked if it was okay to use one of my Witness videos for that. So that was kind of nice that they did that. Another Lego game. I didn't play much of the Avengers. It's just the Lego games are just very tedious. A lot of little things you have to do. Not very difficult, but a lot of things you have to do. A lot of collecting of red bricks and whatnot. So Gone Home is another indie game. You can beat the game in less than 60 seconds. There's a trophy for that. Very, very small game, but it was enjoyable. I feel like this is very much worth the price if you want to just kind of dive in and explore the house, kind of piece together the story. It's a really good experience. And of course, Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I didn't like Assassin's Creed, by the way, until maybe Syndicate was the one. I think Syndicate might be the one. I actually liked Unity, so maybe we'll just go there. I didn't like Assassin's Creed 1, 2. I didn't like Black Flag. I know that's sacrilegious. People just put Black Flag up on a pedestal. I didn't really enjoy it, but I do enjoy the series now. I like the direction it's gone. And Syndicate was definitely one of those games that garnered a lot of views. I did like one of those costume videos with all the outfits. And those type of videos do really well. Rainbow Six Siege, 7%. I only did some of the tutorial stuff. I never played online. Again, I'm not a big fan of the online. I've mentioned that enough already, but Rainbow Six Siege, when it first launched, it wasn't a very good game. And it astounds me and amazes me at the direction Ubisoft has taken this game and made it from something that was just mediocre to something that is one of the, best, esport titles, and really, really successful. How they've actually grown their audience. A lot of games will peak after the first few months, but Rainbow Six was able to grow an audience each and every year. I'm not entirely sure where it's at now, but Just Cause 3 is next on our list. Did not platinum Just Cause 3. I did platinum Just Cause 4, as we saw earlier in this video, and I did platinum Just Cause 2, and that would have been on my other account, so we won't see it here. Bloodborne, I mentioned not a fan of the Souls games, but I was a fan of the Bloodborne. Bloodborne was difficult for me. I'm not into that style of game. And, I didn't like having to make death runs all the time, and I made quite a bit of them. But Bloodborne was a beautiful game, and once you really kind of got it and figured it out, it became more fun. I struggled with it for many hours until I really kind of figured it out in my head. Then we got Battlefront. The first Battlefront, I didn't play much of it. And then we got Black Ops 3. Again, same thing with the other Call of Duty games, 9%. So I just did 18%, I guess. I didn't even do the campaign on Veteran. This might have been the first Veteran campaign I didn't complete. Did I do anything? Yeah. Just the miscellaneous trophies. Again, I checked off the ones I wanted to make trophy guides for, and just did those and got out. Minecraft Story Mode. Barely played that. Didn't even finish the first episode based on the 3 trophies I earned. The Witcher. Witcher's a really fun game. I'm sure many of you guys have played it. It's really big. It's a really hard platinum. What stopped me getting this platinum was having to get all the Gwent cards. I got 68% here. Was trying to find all the Gwent cards. I just didn't have any interest in doing that. But The Witcher 3, there's actually... A lot of times I listen to the community. A lot of people will ask me to make a video on this trophy or that trophy. And The Witcher 3 has one of those trophies. And I don't remember the name of the trophy, but you needed to get like a certain number of headshots using an arrow. I think the bow and arrow or something like that. And one of my patrons over at patreon.com said, hey, Brian, can you make a video for the headshot trophy? I'm like, the headshot trophy? I mean, the headshots, that's easy. Just headshots. I don't need to teach you how to do that, right? Well, I did a little research on it, and it turns out some people were having issues. And the issue they were having was the game just wasn't properly tracking whether or not you got a headshot. So I made a video and just basically a good farming place where you can get it, and just kind of detailed how the best way to get it so the game counted. It wasn't a whole lot, but you know what? Someone asked me to do it. I figured if it's going to help one person, I'll make the video. Turns out almost 250,000 people needed help with that trophy. A lot of people did it. Now, I mentioned earlier I like to checkmark the different trophies that I'm going to make a guide for. This is one of those cases where I just got it wrong. I didn't know. And thankfully, you guys, my community, sometimes you tell me what I need to do, and I appreciate it. I really do. Anyways, moving on, we got the Uncharted Nathan Drake collection. This was really exciting for me. These are all remasters of the PS3 games that came out, and I got the Nathan Drake collection. Sony sent it to me, and I'm like, well, what am I going to do for trophy guides? I mean, there's not really a whole lot that hasn't already been done. But I decided, you know what, I'm just going to make a collectible guide for each of the three. I don't remember ever making one for Drake's Fortune. That was before my YouTube time. I know I did for Uncharted 3. So I'm like, you know what, let's just do a remastered version of the collectible guides. There's already hundreds of other guides that exist on YouTube, so no one's going to watch any of them, right? Well, wrong. I mean, one of them's over 1 million views. Two of the other ones are right up there as well. I was shocked that as many people use those collectible guides, and I'm grateful because making collectible guides is one of the hardest videos I can make. Thankfully, I didn't have to find the collectibles because guides existed. Actually, I used my own guide for Uncharted 3 to make the remastered guide. That was kind of fun to do. So anyways, they were a lot of fun, those games. 3 platinums. They also added a new difficulty mode called Brutal Difficulty. And I'm going to give a big shout out to Sony for doing this, or Blue Point. Blue Point Games actually developed the remasters. They added a Brutal Difficulty, and it is brutal. It is very hard. So kudos to anyone who got it. But what they did is they didn't make it part of the actual platinum. They added it as a second extended collection. I mean, that's just awesome that they did that. So I want to thank them for that. Soma, tried it, didn't love it, moved on. Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. I'm going to be honest, guys. I made a lot of videos for this S-Rank videos, and those videos have done real well. They've gone on to perform far greater than they ever should have because they're not good, in my opinion. I am terrible at stealth mechanics in all games. Now, Metal Gear Solid, you don't have to be stealthy. But the purists are going to want a stealth playthrough. And I just can't do it. And I played the game wrong. I feel like it was wrong. More kind of just run and gun and see how much damage and noise I can make. And I didn't really enjoy this game very much, particularly with the story. It just felt like it got to a certain point, and then it just kind of doubled back and made you just kind of repeat everything again. It was very strange, the mission structure on that. I'm not entirely sure what happened. But it was, we know what happened. The whole Kojima thing. All right, so Mad Max, I barely touched. Rocket League, love Rocket League. 42% with the platinum. There's a lot of DLC for this. Oh, I even got one of the DLC. I liked it so much that I did some DLC. How about that? Wow, a lot of trophies for this game. Good for them. I'm really happy to see Rocket League succeed. It launched with on PS Plus, I believe. So, I mean, millions of people got into it and have stuck with it. Until Dawn, platinum, of course. Until Dawn is one of my favorite games, horror games at least. Games overall. It was a really good experience. This was very hard to make trophy guides for. The collectibles, but not just that, but the deaths you have to kill and save everyone. And I made a guide on that. And making those types of videos, same thing with like Detroit Become Human, Beyond Two Souls, things where there's multiple paths and multiple things affect various future events. It's very hard to make guides for that. And there's so many different variables, and I can't test every single variable as well. That I did make a video showing all the deaths. One of my most viewed videos as well. It's in the top 5. Even though I think I left out one possible death, but didn't stop you from getting the trophy. Anyway, moving on. Everybody's gone to the Rapture walking simulator. I didn't even know what a walking simulator was until this game came out. There were so many people that just praised this game so much, and then there was just as many people that shit on it because all you do is walk. I enjoyed it. How about you? Super Exploding Zoo is, I think this was another PlayStation Plus title. Of course, got the platinum. I do got to give a shout out to one of my friends, Tough Muff. Her and I, she's down in Texas, and she actually offered to help me get this platinum trophy. And I don't actually talk to her very often. We don't play games very often. We used to back in the 6, 7, 8 years ago. But her and I kind of met up in this game, and she helped me get this platinum trophy. And it was one of the most fun times I had. It was a good time. Not a great game. Zombie Army Trilogy. Don't really even remember that. Vanishing in Ethan Carter. I think that was another walking simulator. I enjoyed it. I know I made a couple guides. I have no recollection on what they are. God of War 3 Remastered. Awesome game. I love the God of War game. Obviously, the new one is the best by far. But the original God of War series, obviously the mechanics and gameplay is far different then than what it is now. But I really, really enjoyed God of War so much that I platinumed the original God of War 3 and then, of course, the remastered version. Batman Arkham Knight. I did get a platinum trophy on. I think it was my first Batman platinum. It was a lot of fun. A lot of requirements for platinum on that. And a lot of trophy guides. The Elder Scrolls Online, I got one trophy in. I wish I didn't, so I could have deleted it. Not my kind of game. Ether 1 was another, I think it was another free game, if I'm not mistaken. But it was a glitchy mess when it first launched. There was a lot of issues with it. A lot of things didn't work as it was supposed to work. It was very frustrating platinum. We are starting to get into that territory, guys, where I was making trophy guides for anything, trying to establish myself in YouTube. I'm at that point now where I've got enough of a base that I don't have to kill myself anymore and trying to make a guide for every game. But back then, and this is going back to 2015, so this is still 2 years after I launched. Still at this point, I was making guides for everything. If Achievement Hunter or any other trophy guide people out there, if they weren't making a trophy guide for it, I was. And it actually helped build up the audience. I mean, I wasn't going to get massive views on it, but it did help build the audience back in the early days. So that's, tip for you if you're trying to start out, cover games that no one else is covering, whether you're making trophy guides or just doing Let's Plays or reviews or anything like that. Oh, and speaking of Farming Simulator 15, this is another game. I made one video for it. It's got 40,000 views. Who would have thought? That's a lot of views for anyone who's needing to get to that 1,000 subscriber threshold. Project Cars, I got 72%. I'm not a really big into racing titles. This might be the first time you've seen one on going down this list. Wolfenstein: The Old Blood. I actually liked Wolfenstein: The Old Blood better than Wolfenstein 2. Let me know what you think, but I really enjoyed it. Never got the platinum. I remember something else came out, so I never had time to go back. I had to do a run on the hardest difficulty. Yeah, I probably won't go back to it. Shovel Knight Treasure Trove. Not many trophies here. 31%. I like Shovel Knight. I'm not a big fan of the 8-bit style, old school style games. As you can tell, looking at all the games I've played, there hasn't been many of those. Another MLB title, that's for me. Resident Evil Revelations 2. I didn't really enjoy that too much. Same thing, I just made trophy guides and got out of there as quickly as I could, and didn't intend on ever finishing them. But Battlefield Hardline, surprisingly, I liked Battlefield Hardline. A lot of people hate it. It's probably a lot of people's least favorite game in the series, but I really thoroughly enjoyed it, and I actually got the world's first platinum trophy. Again, I'm not bragging because, when I get the games before everyone, not a big deal. But I remember leading up to it, I'm like, oh, I got one more trophy left, one more trophy. I'm going to do a live stream. So I did a live stream, and I said, I'm going to play until I get the platinum trophy. It was like 12 hours later. I had such a huge, massive grind to unlock the double barrel shotgun. I mean, now you could just find someone with it and pick up theirs and use it, but no one in the game had it yet. So I tried unlocking that double barrel shotgun, and finally it was like 5 o'clock in the morning. I should never have said I'm going to play until I platinum. I learned something that day. Hotline Miami 2, wrong number again. Just me covering any game I could. Counter Spy, same thing, small PSN title. Counter Spy, actually, there's maybe? No, I think it's a different game. We'll get to it in a minute. Ali Ali 2, that was a terrible game. I hated this thing with a passion. I'm not even sure I made any content from it. Evolve, 4%. That's 4% too many. That game should just be deleted, sent to space, never to return. Apotheon is another PSN title, got the platinum on it. I enjoyed it. I remember there was one trophy that was glitched that we had to wait until they patched the game, and I hate that. I really hate when a trophy glitches, but thankfully they did patch it. The Order 1886, not really much I want to say about this. I enjoyed the game. Everyone's going to hate me for saying that, so I'm just going to move on. Minecraft, of course. I do a platinum, 42%, and still, well, not a lot of DLC. Expansion pack. Wow, I didn't even know they came out with any of that. And let's see, Super Stardust Ultra. I did get the platinum. I never got the platinum on the PS3 version. Now, this is basically a remastered version of that original title. I liked it. It was a little difficult. The Shock and Awe trophy, and there was a couple others that are pretty difficult. But Super Stardust is like Resogun. I think it's made by the same people. If you liked Resogun, you might like Super Stardust Ultra. Sherlock Holmes, Crimes and Punishment. All right, I see. I made guides for a lot of crap games. Grim Fandango, not a crap game necessarily. There are a lot of miscellaneous trophies. Like almost everything on this is a miscellaneous missable trophy. So yeah, I mean, there was a lot of extra little stuff you could do. The Playroom, that's that. Is that a VR thing? I don't even remember what this is. I don't think so. And then it's the Playroom VR. Oh, maybe that's that the light, the DualShock version. Saints Row, Get Out of Hell. I didn't really play much of that. Rocksmith 2014. I mentioned the show games, MLB The Show. Rocksmith, that is my other personal title. That's what I play. Got the platinum on this one and the original Rocksmith, both of which are very difficult platinums to get. Assassin's Creed Unity, talked about it earlier. That's really where I started liking the Assassin's Creed series. They kind of changed from an older formula, made it look nicer. A lot of people hate this game, though. Geometry Wars 3. The Crew, a racing game. Thomas Was Alone. It's a fun little indie game. Little Big Planet 3, which I, of course, platinum. I like the Little Big Planet series. Obviously, Media Molecules working on Dreams. I have a lot of concern about Dreams. I mean, I watched their live stream. I know they have some kind of closed beta thing going on. It looks cool. The things you can do in it look amazing. I just don't know if it's going to drive me in it. I'm probably not going to be someone that wants to sit there and create. I just don't have time, guys. Clearly, but I would love to go and play other people's creations. I just don't know if I'm going to enjoy it or not. Surgeon Simulator. By the way, this is my hardest platinum trophy on this account. Of all my PS4 trophies, this is the hardest one. I have some more difficult ones, rarer ones on my original account. The Surgeon Simulator is my hardest PlayStation 4 trophy. Very difficult. I got a lot of guides for it. They actually patched it and made it harder because there was kind of like not really an exploit where you had to get like gold or something like that on every level, but like an earlier version of the game, you didn't have to get it on every. I don't remember the details. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. I did have the platinum on this, guys. I said I would never do it. Well, that was the newer titles. I believe almost every game up until Advanced Warfare, I platinum. And I platinum some of the old school ones, the World at War, which is one of the more difficult Call of Duty platinums. That was before they did all the crazy online. For many years, they had no online trophies. They had online, but they never had online trophies. And then they started adding them, and that's kind of when it went downhill. But yeah, there was I don't think there was zombies in this mode, in this game. That's probably a reason why I platinumed it. Anyways, The Evil Within. Actually, I did platinum one of the Call of Duties, the first one with zombies. Maybe I mentioned that earlier. The Evil Within, I didn't like the second one, but I really did like the first one a lot. I don't know why. Velocity 2X, again, just covering anything at this point. Infamous First Light was a standalone title to Infamous Second Son. I really, really enjoyed this. In 4-hour platinum, maybe, and it's relatively easy. Pixel Dunk Shooter Ultimate, barely touched it. Fez I only did because the community asked me to do it as a live stream. I fought against it actually for quite a long time, and then I finally caved and did a live stream for him. Last of Us Remastered. Interesting story here. I loved Last of Us. Last of Us might be my favorite all-time game. Not a surprise. A lot of people say that. The Last of Us, I earned the platinum on PS3. I made trophy guides on the PS3. And we're not going to see Last of Us from the PS3 here. I made that. I did all those trophies, I think, on my other account. So The Last of Us Remastered comes out, and I'm like, I got to play this game again. But I really want to make content. How can I make content for this? Because I've already done all the collectible guides for it. I'm not going to make a new one. That would be silly. And then they did the grounded mode. They added grounded mode as a separate trophy, as part of the separate list. So I'm like, what if I just do a walkthrough of grounded mode? And I don't do a lot of full game walkthroughs. Doing the Last of Us grounded mode was my most successful series of walkthroughs. And to this day, people thank me all the time for my grounded mode walkthrough. A lot of people, I guess, struggled with it. And I played the game so much over and over and over. I just felt like I knew it inside and out. So I was able to deliver a really good, what I feel is a good solid guide. So I'm thankful that a lot of you guys enjoyed the grounded mode walkthrough. But I only did it, and I almost didn't even make that. I only did it just because I had no other content to make. And it was just kind of like a last second, like, all right, let's do it. All right, let's move on. Garden Warfare, 91% platinum trophy. I mentioned I like Garden Warfare. I'm surprised, again, almost exclusively online title, and got the plat. Next up is the Swapper. Fun story about this. I learned something with this game. I covered this game because, you know, at the time I was covering a lot of crap. And it's not actually a crap game. It's actually a pretty solid game. It's basically an hour and a half long puzzle. It's a lot of puzzles. So I made two guides. I made a guide for all the collectibles, which is all the trophies. And if you look at the trophy list, it's a very interesting, unique trophy list. It's just 1 through 10. The names and the descriptions are identical. So it's a very unique list. It's basically just 10 collectible hidden locations in the game. So I made a guide for just those 10 locations. And then I made a second guide, just a full walkthrough of the entire game, because there's a lot of puzzles along the way. And it turns out those videos did okay, about 5,000 to 8,000 views. Well, it turns out, and no one else was making videos on this game. Turns out they added to the PlayStation Plus. It became free for the entire system, for everybody who had Plus, of course. And the views on that went from 8,000 per video to 250,000 per video. They're almost that high. So I learned something, like, if I could just somehow pick some of these little games, these smaller titles, they may become free on PlayStation Plus. And that's happened many times. And I've reaped a lot of benefit, a lot of extra views every time that something gets added to PlayStation Plus. So I'm really grateful. I learned that lesson. That's one of the early lessons I've learned. Oddworld New and Tasty. Interesting thing about this is, of course, I did a speedrun walkthrough of this entire game. I did a lot of walkthroughs back then, didn't I? I even did some Grand Theft Auto 5. But anyway, Oddworld New and Tasty. I did a speed run walkthrough, basically of all the collectibles, all the different things you had to do to ultimately get the Platinum Trophy. A developer was porting this to mobile. And I'm not entirely sure why, but they used my walkthroughs to help them develop the mobile port to this game. I have no idea why. I never asked them. And they thanked me for using it by giving me a whole bunch of codes for the mobile port, which was actually a really good mobile port. But I don't play mobile games. Anyways, Last of Us, this is actually a PS3 version of the game. And why is that on here? Because this is not a PS4 game. Well, because this is where I did the Left Behind DLC. I used Blue Estate. Is a on-rails shooter, very difficult trophy. I think this is still some of my rarest trophies are from Blue Estate. Really terribly difficult. Did a walkthrough. Videos did okay. Between 10, maybe 15,000 views. But one of them has 98,000 views. You want to know why? You could probably guess. It had a girl in a bikini on the thumbnail. Yeah. That helps get views. Anyways, Valiant Hearts, The Great War, Ubisoft small indie title that they published. I love this game a lot. Loved making guides for that game. I'd play that game over and over. I had time. Trying to... Watchdogs, the original, platinum that. I really enjoyed Watchdogs. I don't care what you say. I did not like the Songs Seek trophy, though. You know what I'm talking about if you played that game. MLB 14, platinum that. Daylight, 73%. Must not have a platinum because there's only 11 trophies earned. All right, so Outlast, guys. Story time on this. Again, remember back when I said that if you're a small creator, you want to reach out to smaller independent studios. They will be more likely to give you a free code to a game if you have any kind of audience at all. It doesn't have to be massive. You can start off small. And there's actually places you can go. Terminals by Evolve PR is a kind of like a web portal where you can request keys if you sign up. And then Keymailer is another resource for you small creators. You can go to those, and a lot of indie studios participate with them to help distribute keys to smaller content creators, larger content creators as well. But they will work with a lot of smaller ones as well. So I didn't know anything about that. So that's just a tip for you, pro tip if you're kind of a smaller creator or starting out or wanting to start out. But back in the early days of starting my channel, I was buying all my titles from eBay, and I was paying $100, $200 in some cases to try to get a game 4 or 5 days ahead of time so I can make trophy guides, because that's really critical, is for me having time with the game before launch so I can have guides. Well, Outlast is the first time that I ever emailed a developer directly and asked for a code and got one. So I hold a massive respect for Red Barrels for supporting me when I was much smaller. I don't remember my size at the time, but I was definitely small. And they sent me a review copy of this game, and I was amazed. I was excited. I'm like, oh my God. Of course, it meant, it didn't mean anything other than I was able to play the game and was able to try to find the collectibles. This game had been out on PC for quite a while, like 9 months maybe. And a lot of the PC streamers were making massive success with this. Pewdiepie became massive with Amnesia. That was really his launching pad. But Outlast catapulted him even a higher level. Markiplier, a lot of the big time YouTubers really were successful with Outlast. I'm like, all right, so maybe I can be successful. I'm not a screamer. You know how most of those guys, they're playing the game, they scream and they exaggerate it a lot. But they had great success for it. Turns out I was able to get a lot of success from this too, but not for screaming into a microphone. Collectible guide? The PC people don't care about collectibles, so I was able to make a collectible guide. But what the PS4 version of the game, when it came out, it also introduced a new difficulty mode. This, by the way, didn't have a platinum trophy. This is my most, by far, successful game that didn't have a platinum. But they added a new difficulty called Lunatic. Or, I'm sorry, Insane Mode. You're in the Lunatic trophy. Insane Mode was basically a 0 checkpoint playthrough. And it was very, very, very difficult. And I did a walkthrough, basically a speed run. The only way you can recreate what I did in the game is if you did a speed run in the same way that I did it. So I presented a speed run of this game on insane difficulty. And as I mentioned earlier, whenever I can make a trophy guide that appeals beyond just trophy hunters and expands into the PC audience, I have a chance to be successful or more successful. So, and that was the case. They introduced Insane Mode for the PlayStation and PC at the same time, but I made a video guide, a walkthrough on Insane difficulty that everybody loved. You want to know why they loved it? Because I wasn't screaming into a microphone. I approached this as a tutorial and was very calm voiced like I normally am. And so many people appreciated that I was able to walk them through the game and make the game feel less scary. So to this day, I still get comments on my Outlast video and tweets from people who thank me for that. So that's Outlast holds a special place in my heart because it was the first review copy of anything I ever got. And then I got Stick It to the Man as a review copy. Octodad, same thing. Those were 100% games. Again, I was covering games, any game. Didn't even have to have a platinum trophy. Didn't matter. Everyone else was covering all the big titles. I was going to cover the little ones. Of course, MOP the show again. That was for me. Infamous Second Son. It wasn't a launch title. It came out, I think, 6 months later. I think it was supposed to be a launch title. As you can see, we're getting down towards the end of this list here. So Second Son, I enjoyed the game. I made a lot of videos for it. If I made those videos today, they would be spectacular. I was small at the time. I need to look back at some of those old videos, the intros I used, and just the recording equipment. Ugh, cringy, let me tell you. Dead Nation, I don't even remember this game. All right, so South Park Stick of Truth, another thing, another story time here. I apologize if it's ruining the flow for you. The Stick of Truth is the first AAA title I ever got from a publisher for free. Ubisoft mailed it to my house. I remember that. And I remember going, oh my God, getting excited. Thinking, oh, Ubisoft knows where I live. I didn't think that. But I got to give a massive shout out to Ubisoft. I had 30,000 subscribers, I think, at the time. This came out after Outlast. The order of the list is because Outlast had DLC. But Stick of Truth was the first time that a AAA publisher took notice. And Ubisoft, God bless them, they were less concerned, rather, with your numbers, like how many subscribers you had or how many views, how many concurrent viewers you have on Twitch. They were more impressed with quality of content, and they invited a lot of people out to various preview events, especially back then, based on the quality of your content. That was more important to them, and I've always respected them for being there for me and supporting me all through this time. As I've mentioned many times in this list, Ubisoft titles always do real well for me because I feel like their content is good. But they've been good to me, and hopefully I've been good to them. And the Stick of Truth, I got that early, and this is a pivotal moment in my YouTube career because nobody else made trophy guides for this game. I was the only one, and it was looking to fail. It had every reason to fail. It was bought out. Ubisoft bought it from a company that went under, and no one gave it a chance, and no other trophy guide people, even achievement, nobody was making guides on this game. And I did. And I flourished immensely because of it. So this game really holds a special place in my heart. Really helped grow my channel so much. I get emotional when I think about it. I really do. It means a lot to me. Then there's Basement Crawl. Basement Crawl was so bad it was pulled from the PlayStation Store. I uploaded a trailer, I think, to my channel. Before it came out, I'm like, oh, this looks cool. And then the game came out, and it was so bad, I didn't make a guide. I didn't make any videos for it. And here's a little pro tip if you're just starting off in YouTube. If you get a review code for a game, create content for it, whether it's a blog post or a video. Create a content for that game, because if you get a code and don't do anything with it, they won't work with you again, and you don't want to be known as that person. But Basement Crawl, it was so bad. I'm like, I'm not making anything for this. Finally, the developers realized it was bad. It had a technical issue or something. I don't remember what it was, but they pulled it from the PlayStation Store, and they re-released the game under the name Brawl. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that game. That received a little success. So Basement Crawl is a game you will never have on your trophy list because it doesn't exist. Strider is a game, I mentioned it earlier, where I made a guide for it because no one else was going to. Small title, and then eventually went free on Plus. And there's a video, I think it has over 100 or around 100,000 views on that because it went to the Plus. So I was able to foresee that. Don't Starve, again, I made a guide for that. No one else would. Don't ask me why I got these pinball games here. Resogun is the launch title. In fact, Resogun is the first PlayStation Plus game for PS4. So everyone got that for free, and it was an amazing game. I still argue is one of the best PlayStation Plus games ever to come out. Injustice: Gods Among Us. A friend of mine actually gave that to me. Again, I'm not good at fighting games, so I'm not making much content for fighting games. Walking Dead Season 2. Don't know why that's there. Contrast. Wasn't Contrast a free Plus game at one point? It was a launch title, though. So I remember, again, at this time, I was making trophy guides for anything. And then finally, guys, we made it to the bottom. Killzone Shadowfall was the launch title everyone wanted. It was the biggest title, maybe not the one everyone wanted, but it was the launch game. Hopefully the PlayStation 5 has a better launch. I liked Killzone Shadowfall, don't get me wrong, but I feel like it launch I feel like not enough people played it. It was a really good game. I feel like if this game came out a year later after the fan base was built up, the game would have been far more successful, and we would be far more likely to get another sequel. And I actually still think we're going to get another Killzone game. But it was my first PlayStation 4 recordings. It was a technical challenge trying to get everything with my video editor, and it was a lot of learning. Now, I made PlayStation a PS4 trophy guides. It's a channel name, not actual PlayStation 4 games, before the PlayStation 4 release. So I was making PS3 guides for about 4 or 5 months prior to the launch of the system. Those were all on my other account. So there are older games that are on my YouTube channel. Of course, that came out in PS3. So many people gave me grief. They're like, why do you call yourself PS4 trophies when you're making PS3 guides? Valid question. But I just wanted to lock up the name. And then the Killzone Shadowfall came out. I got the bundle, bought the bundle from Amazon. There was some shipping mix-up, and nonetheless, we got it all sorted out, and I started making PlayStation trophy guides, PS4 trophy guides. This is a long video. But I'm excited. A lot of people wanted to see my trophies. You could have just gone to PSN profiles and seen them all in about 13 seconds. But if you made it this far, thank you. I love you. And let me know what you think about this style video. More of a podcast than a video. I talk a lot. I know that. Anyways, see you guys soon. I love you. Peace out. And PlayStation 5's coming, guys. Don't know yet. 2020 maybe? See you soon.